G'day and welcome to Disc Golf Down Under. It's Matt here and this is the first video in an in-depth series on the rules of disc golf. Over the next 14 or so videos, I'll be covering each of the 13 rules as per the Professional Disc Golfers Association or PDGA official rules of disc golf. The aim of this series is not to replace the official rules, but to act as a visual guide and try to demonstrate what can sometimes be difficult to understand. So let's dive in. In this video, I'm going to have a look at the history of the rules of disc golf, explain how this series works, and end our first video with the first rule. It's important to know that I'm recording this in 2021 and it covers the rules as of the 1st of January 2021. If you're watching this in 2022 or the future, there may be subtle differences, which I'll try and provide updates via the video description as well as in pinned comments. So if in doubt, have a look there first. But bottom line, the book is always better than the movie, and the PDGA rulebook is no exception. So even though the first disc golf tournament was held back in 1969, it wasn't until around the late 1970s that the sport started to take off, with the first written rules of disc golf appearing on signs at disc golf courses in the US provided by the DGA, or the Disc Golf Associations. These signs had the basic rules explaining how to play, and that was it, a simple one-pager. Then 4 years later in 1982, the first known set of rules were developed, but it wasn't until 1986 that the first rulebook was released and provided to PDGA members. And since then the game has been constantly evolving and the rules have been updated approximately every 4 to 6 years. The most recent rulebook, considered as version 9, was released in 2018. However, it doesn't stop there. Usually every year we'll see the PDGA publish rule changes and minor changes to the rules, and these can be found on the PDGA website, so make sure you stay up to date and review these changes each year. Now, if you've ever looked in the rulebook, and hopefully you have, you'll notice on page 1 that we start with rule 800. Why 800? Where are all the other rules, you may ask? Well, disc golf is but one sport that falls under the governance of the World Flying Disc Federation, or the WFDF. And if you go to the WFDF website and look at the rules section, you'll find that it's broken into a number of sections or articles, and there's 8 in total. The first section starts with 100 and covers a general overview of the flying disc sports. This is then followed by double disc court, guts, ultimate, discathon, field events, freestyle, and the best sport of all, Article 8 covers disc golf. And so now you know, if you didn't know already, why the disc golf rules start at number 800. When I was starting out disc golf a few years ago, I found tons of tournament videos on YouTube from Jomez and Central Coast and the rest of them. However, when it came to videos on playing the game and specifically the rules, I only found a handful of short videos covering the basic rules, a few minutes each. These are fine for recreational play, but as soon as you want to play competitively, you need to really go to the rule book. And at 60 pages long, it's not an easy read. Some find it confusing and give up. Furthermore, most players might read through once, at best, and forget some of the lesser known rules. And it's not until you unintentionally break a rule in a tournament and get called for it that you discover how little you may know. So my aim with this video series is not to replace the rulebook, but to supplement it and provide a visual guide. Over 14 videos, I'll be covering the 14 main rules, including the Q&A section of the rulebook. However, I won't be covering the tournament manual or the appendices that cover the different game formats. That might be something for a future series. So if you consider this video as part 0, each subsequent video will align with the rule number as per the PDGA rulebook. So here's a quick table of contents to help you find a specific topic. I'll also include this in the video description below with links to each of the videos. So let's wrap up this introductory video with the first rule, or rule 0, rule 800, which gives a description of the game. Hopefully most of you already know about this, but if you're fresh to the sport and this might be your first time looking at the rules, we've got
The object of the game of disc golf is to complete a course and the fewest throws of the disc. A course typically consists of 9 or 18 holes, each of which is a separate unit for scoring. Play on each hole begins at the tee and ends at the target. After the player has thrown from the tee, each successive throw is made from where the previous throw came to rest. On completing a hole, the player proceeds to the teeing area of the next hole, until all holes have been played. Disc golf courses are normally laid out in and around wooded areas with diverse terrain to provide natural obstacles to the flight of the disc. The course must not be altered by the player in any way to decrease the difficulty of a hole. Players must play the course as they find it and play the disc where it lies, unless otherwise allowed by these rules.
So that brings us to the end of this introductory video on the rules of disc golf. If you think this series is a good idea, make sure you let me know by hitting that like button and leave some feedback in the comments as well. You may also want to subscribe to the Disc Golf Down Under channel while you're at it so that you'll see each of these videos in the series when they're released, or perhaps so that you can find them easier at a later date. Well, that's it for this one. I'll see you in the next video for Rule 801.